clients can't buy from you unless they can find you. And the only way to be found is by creating great content that stands out on Instagram and TikTok. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 4 types of content every small business owner should be creating. And trust me, you're going to want to stick around for the 4th strategy because this is the main reason why you're not converting. Let's get into it. If you haven't already, like this video so we can reach more entrepreneurs just like you, and subscribe for content strategy tips for your Reels and your TikToks. Now, some of you who are watching this video, your content's boring. I'm gonna just be real. Because there's a lot of us out here who believe that if we just post it, they will come. But no, you gotta test, pivot. Test, pivot. Everybody test, pivot. Come on, test, pivot. That's my song for my clients, because whenever you're putting out your content, you got to test and see what types of content is bringing in the followers and what types of content is bringing in the buyers. Now, if you don't know who your followers are and you're creating the content and it's not compelling them to take action, that's where your first problem lies. You need to understand who you are talking to and what great content means to them. If you actually want to convert those followers into customers, then you got to implement the 4 E's to content creation. Now, here's the thing, because there's a lot of you on here who are like, great, I'm going to just write this down and I'm going to implement it. Yeah, you can, but it's not going to work unless you understand the 3 reasons why you're not creating great content now. If you don't fix these 3 things, you can get the content strategy from me, and guess what? Your content will still suck. So what's the first reason on why you're not creating great content? Because you don't know what it is. Great content entertains your audience and compels them to take action. And what's the action that we want our audience to do? 2 things. We want them to follow us and to buy from us. So if you are creating content right now and your audience is not growing, they're not following you, and they're not buying from you, you need to fire your content. That's right. Fire your content, because you're the employer and your content is the employee. If you put it out there and it's not doing its work, you got to start from scratch. And if you want to know how to make your content better, you can actually watch this video, because in this video, I'm showing you how to create amazing content that stands out on Instagram and TikTok. The second reason why you're not creating great content is because you're not relating to your audience. In order for anyone to buy from us, they need to feel seen and they need to feel heard. So when you're creating your content, if it's not reaching them or resonating with them, this is a big issue, because your content should be set up to serve your audience. It's the same thing that Jesus did. When he hit the scene, he met the needs of his people. He healed the sick, raised the dead, performed miracles. He made himself about his people. And that's what you got to do. So if you are serious about attracting your ideal customers, then you have to create content that serves your audience. And the third reason why you're not creating great content is because you're not communicating clearly. Some of your audience, when they hit your page, you're talking about one thing and then they're leaving feeling another. That's a mixed messaging. If you're a fitness coach and you're called to reach people who want to know how to lose weight, you need to create content for them. If you now create content around marriage, that's going to throw your audience off. So you got to communicate clearly. You got to speak their language so that they know that you are speaking to them. And so we can use Jesus as a great example. When he walked this earth, he had a specific people that he was calling. So when he was communicating his message, when he was communicating with his audience, he spoke in a way that they felt seen and heard. So he said to his people, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden." And you know who came to him? The woman who was bleeding for 12 years. She was like, "I'm weary, I'm heavy laden, let me go after him." The man whose son was throwing himself down and having seizures. But you know who did not come to him? The Pharisees, the Sadducees, the Roman emperors, because they didn't feel like they were weary or heavy laden. So you want to make sure that when you're communicating your message, you are compelling the right people and repelling the wrong people. Okay, now you're ready for the 4 E's to content creation, because now that you fixed the first 3 things, now you can actually implement the 4 types of content that's going to bring in your followers and your conversions. And don't forget, the last E is really what's going to get you to convert. Right about here, you want to save this so you can refer back to it later. So let's jump into the first one, education. You want to make sure that you are educating your audience on your services, on your products. What is it that you are offering? You need to teach your audience. Why? Because we are in the age of attraction marketing. People aren't just going to buy stuff just to buy it. They are actually looking for someone that they resonate with. They are literally praying to God for the solution to their problems, and you are the answer to their prayer. But guess what? If you are not educating them, if you are not serving your audience with the information that they need in order to make a buying decision, then they're not going to buy from you. The next E is entertainment. You have to, absolutely have to entertain your audience with your content. Video content is the fastest way for people to digest the information that you're going to share. So if you're going to be sharing quick tips and tricks for them to win, you want to share it in a way that is entertaining so they can easily digest it. Now, I remember when I was a youth leader at my old church, my former church, and the young women, they did not want to learn the Bible at all. But I was also their step coach. So what I did was I recognized, hey, if I entertain them with the scriptures, then they will actually remember it. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. I infused the scriptures into their step practice, and till this day, they still remember it. That was like 10 years ago. Right? So you want to do that with your audience. You want to entertain them so they can easily receive the information that you are sharing. Why? Because your reels and your TikToks are commercials that represent your brand. If you think about commercials, all they do is entertain you, they share great information, and then they tell you what to do next. That's what your content should be doing. Now, here's the thing. Some of you are like, okay, I want to entertain my audience, but I'm not that funny, and I don't want to point and dance. Entertainment is not just making people laugh. If you watch football or even basketball, very little people laugh during that, but they are still entertained. You can create content that leaves your people wanting more. This is where binge-worthy content comes into play. Because when people are scrolling on your page and they are binging now, guess what? They can't stop watching. And now, whatever they binge, they buy. That's just a fact. When people are watching Netflix, Hulu, Apple Music, or listening to Apple Music, guess what? They are paying for that every single month because they are binging it. So I show you how to create that same experience where your audience are educated and entertained so that now when they land on your page and they're binging, they're ready to buy from you. So let's go into the third E. The third E is encouraging. Encouraging. So you need to encourage your audience. Why? Because some of them are on the verge of quitting. Some of them done woke up and said, Lord, I can't do this no more. I made a mistake. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. Some of them don't even believe that they can get the transformation that you are selling. And you need to encourage them, motivate them, and let them know that they can, that this is possible for them. Some of them are looking at you thinking, oh, that's only for that person. It's only going to work for them. And it's not true. Without that encouragement, they're not going to see themselves working with you. This works even if you are selling a service or a product. And then the last E is enrolling. This is the E that I said a lot of you aren't doing, and this is why you're not converting. After you've educated your audience, entertained your audience, and encouraged your audience, if you do not tell your audience, hey, you can work with me by doing this. This is what I have to offer. They just got warmed up to go to your competitor. I had recognized back in June that there was a drop in my sales, and I didn't know why. I started to analyze my content like, why am I not making as much sales as I was before? And it was because I had stopped enrolling my audience. I was educating them, I was entertaining them, but I was not letting them know, hey, here's how you can work for me. Click the link in my bio. Comment this word to get access. And now I started doing that again. And guess what? People are interested again. The people, they want to work with you. They want to buy from you. And I'm going to prove it to you because some of you are over here like, oh, but you know, what I'm selling is not that important. That's not true. When you are serving your audience, when you are meeting a need, when you are educating your audience, they will gravitate to buy from you. They can't wait to buy from you. It's the same thing that happened to King Solomon in 1 Kings chapter 10. Queen Sheba heard about his fame. She came to visit him. She was all the way in Africa, by the way. She came to visit him all the way in Israel, and she asked him hard questions, right? And then he answered them effortlessly, which meant that he educated her. He served her. He met her need. And as soon as he was finished, guess what? She paid him. She gave him cattle, sheep, gold, silver. He didn't even need that stuff. But that's a principle that God is showing us. When you sow a seed, you shall reap a harvest. That is also scripture. 2 Corinthians 9 verse 6. Those who sow sparingly shall reap sparingly, and those who sow generously shall reap generously. So after you've served your audience, after you've sowed into your audience, do them a favor and enroll them. Make your offer. Let them know how they can work with you. Give them the opportunity to work with you or buy from you so that they can actually go ahead and do it. So if you enact all four of those E's and you recognize a shift in your content, I want you to comment below your testimony. Let me know where you were before you started doing the 4 E's and where you are now after you're doing the 4 E's. Check out my next video, The Ultimate Guide to Content Creation for Small Business.